Perfect.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Lakeside View. I'm your host, Big Win. Today is going to be it's not going to be a very positive show today. I had to take a couple of days off. I wanted to drop a video on Friday, but with the news coming out that we were moving on from Tyronn Lue and we had coaching candidates the likes of Frank Vogel, Mike Woodson, Lionel Hollins, JB Bickerstaff. It was a rough day, and all the frustration came to a head once the news broke over the weekend that we hired Frank Vogel. Frank Vogel to a 3-year deal, 2 years guaranteed with a 3rd-year option. I don't know, where do I begin? I mean, Frank Vogel is not the problem. He's not the best coach. He's not the most known coach. I mean, the guy's been out of coaching for about a year, but the same Orlando Magic team that he won 25 games with, the following year gets to the playoffs. That's not really a good sign of you're a good coach. But the thing that really bothers me is the way it was done. I mean, we had Tyronn Lue in the bag. I mean, the last video we talked about, Tyronn Lue looked like he was a shoo-in for the job. Next thing you know, the rug is pulled out from under him. They offered him a 3-year deal. I think it was about $18 million total, which, I mean, is no small chunk of change, but the guy's making $5 million a year from Cleveland to do nothing. You know, why would you come over to LA, deal with this circus, you know, and not only that, but they try to force Jason Kidd down his throat, which they ended up doing to Frank Vogel, you know, but you're going to have Jason Kidd on your bench, and you know that he's going to want to take your job at some point, which, again, going back to the optics, is really what ended up happening. It was just very frustrating to be a Laker fan this weekend. I mean, there was talks of trading LeBron. The word got out that Jeannie wasn't the final decision maker, which, I mean, is complete and utter nonsense. Jeannie's the owner of this team, and she's allowing for Phil Jackson, her ex, to come in and influence the decision making. You know, I never thought I'd see the day when Kurt Rambis, of all people, would have more sway in the organization than Magic Johnson did. I mean, I don't know how. I know Linda Rambis, Kurt's wife, is good friends with Jeannie. They've been friends for several decades, but enough is enough. You know, I mean, you got to have people around you that know what they're doing. You got to have smart, you know, people that are tuned into whatever market you're in. And it just doesn't seem like that's the case. You know, I mean, there's been no statements made. You're not going to replace Magic, so you're just going to allow for Rob Pelinka to be the voice. You know, it's like he's the GM, he's the president. We don't know what he is. But I mean, to sit here and say that Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis were able to convince you to not hire Tyronn Lue at the number he should have been hired at, to me, it's just baffling. You know, it just boggles the mind. So then let's go to Frank Vogel, the guy that we hired. He's a good defensive coach. We all know this. I mean, Indiana was in top 10 in all the defensive statistical categories when he was there. Couldn't get over the LeBron James hump, which is no knock to him. I mean, there were a lot of teams that couldn't get over the LeBron James hump. I mean, the guy went to the finals 8-9 years in a row. No knock against Frank Vogel. I thought his offensive sets were pretty predictable. You know, nothing spectacular. And again, in a weak Eastern Conference where they did have the number 1 seed one year, you know, you had a situation where you could funnel a lot of action into Roy Hibbert. I mean, Roy Hibbert was at one point a good rim defender. But I mean, this wasn't the name that Laker fans were looking for. Fast forward to the weekend, and then you start hearing more and more stories come out, and then they make it official. Jason Kidd is hired as an assistant coach, a specialty coach, if you will, with a lot of responsibilities. We all know what that means. He's pretty much going to be Lonzo Ball's coach. He's going to be LeBron's coach, and he's going to be the Lakers' coach in a matter of a year or two. We saw this play out in Cleveland, which is why Tyronn Lue didn't take the job, because he was part of a similar situation. They hired David Blatt in Cleveland with the pre-set up situation where Jason Kidd was going to be an assistant. Tyronn Lue was going to be an assistant, and eventually he was going to replace David Blatt, especially once they brought LeBron in. So Tyronn Lue saw this coming from a mile away. He wasn't going to allow this to happen to him because he's done it before. So again, I get it in his situation. He's won a championship. More power to you. But you're going to bring Jason Kidd in because you wanted to hire him initially. You don't hire him because of the optics, which again goes back to how absurd this team is being ran. You bring him on as an assistant coach. He's going to mentor Lonzo, and at some point he's going to take over the team. If this is the guy you wanted to hire, why not just hire him? I mean, if the optics are that important, what do you think it is now? You already hired the guy as an assistant. So now you have a Frank Vogel as a lame duck coach. The first time something happens with him and LeBron, or there's a misunderstanding, or LeBron doesn't follow the play, then you know what the narrative is going to be. LeBron doesn't respect this guy. He prefers Jason Kidd. And now you have a split locker room because now there's going to be guys that want to side with LeBron and Jason Kidd. And there's going to be guys that want to side with Frank Vogel, depending on what way we go in terms of free agency this year. It's just a mess, you know what I mean? This is why when you own a sports franchise, it's difficult to leave it to your offspring, your children. Because the kids don't love the game like you do. They don't love the team like you do. I mean, Jeannie says she loves the Lakers, but all these moves that she's made and all these decisions that are being made in her name, it doesn't seem like she loves this team. You know, she doesn't put forth the effort to go in and explain it to the fans. Hey, look, this is what the direction of the team is. You know, we want to quell all the nonsense going on out there about my friend runs the team in a dark room. You know, and Dr. Buss, you know, he ran the team. You know, he had his kids, he loved his kids, but we all know how he felt about the Lakers. I can't say that same thing about Jim Buss, which is why he was removed, and I can't say the same thing about Jeannie. You know, it seems like Jeannie's more concerned with the marketing side, you know, the business side, selling jerseys, making sure that the Lakers are a recognized global name, but you can't sacrifice the basketball side. You know, we have a situation where the Lakers have won the same amount of games as the Knicks in the last 5-6 years. That's inexcusable. You know, the Knicks have been a circus for as long as I can remember. And now to be synonymous with that, I mean, it's heartbreaking. You know, you turn on the television and every day you're looking at people laughing at the Lakers. You know, Patrick Beverly is doing interviews saying thanks for us giving him Zubac, which, I mean, again, Zubac, whatever. He's a nice player, but he's not a difference maker. You know, but the fact of the matter is that these people are having a laugh at our expense. There's nothing more frustrating than just looking at, you know, people saying they're going to convert to being Clipper fans. We all know that's not the truth because if that was the case, that would have happened by now. We've been bad for 6 years. The Clippers have been in the playoffs on and off for the majority of that time. The talent's still not a Clipper fan. So I don't care what the Clippers do. They're not going to bring the amount of attention that, you know, the Lakers have. They're not going to garner that amount of attention. But still, the fact remains that there's no clear direction with this team. You know, I'm Frank Vogel. I don't know any player that's going to say, I want to go play for Frank Vogel. I mean, I'm sure there would have been some veterans, maybe not superstars, but at least some veterans that would have said, you know what? They got LeBron, they got Tyronn Lue. I don't mind going out to L.A. I mean, why not? It's L.A. And I got a championship coach. I got one of the best players in the NBA. I'd definitely make a sacrifice to do that. But now you got Frank Vogel. You don't know what direction the team's going in. It just doesn't look good. The outlook doesn't look good. Then you bring in LeBron, and you're looking at the situation where it's like, okay, you got one of the best players. He came in on as a free agent. You made all of these commitments to the guy. Magic leaves. And now it's like, why bring LeBron on? If you didn't have any intentions on surrounding LeBron with the best coach and the best talent possible with the 4 years we had him, what was the point? I mean, what was the point of bringing this guy over? You know, now you have a situation where he's having to come out and say, we didn't have anything to do with the coaching selection. These aren't the things that we want to hear from LeBron. We want to hear LeBron is on the recruitment trail. We want to hear LeBron is out there trying to get guys to commit to coming to LA next year. Now you have a situation where there's all kinds of speculation where we don't know if we're going to get Kyrie next year. We don't know if we're going to trade. I mean, I don't even think we're going to trade the kids anymore, you know, because now bringing in Jason Kidd, this whole thing is about player development, especially young players. So now where do we go? You know, are we going to stay with the same roster we had last year and try to piece together a bunch of, you know, veterans on player-friendly deals or team-friendly deals? And I don't know. I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out for the life of me for this weekend, and just haven't really had a chance to just put it all together, you know. And I'm sure the Laker fans out there, you can feel my frustration. I'm sure you're frustrated as well. You know, it just seems like when it rains, it pours. You know, the so-called protest, if you will, that happened outside Staples, I think it had about 50 people at a time. Again, you got guys like Clipper Darrell coming out there and laughing and, you know, maybe having jokes at our expense. I mean, it's an all-time low. It's an all-time low, and it shouldn't be this way. You know, we've had iconic players, Kobe Bryant, you know, LeBron James is looking to finish off his career here. And, I mean, every time you turn on television, we're the butt of all jokes on all networks. And it shouldn't be this way. So, I guess in summation, I think it's time for Jeannie to just sell the team. I don't think she has what it takes. I mean, and it's not intentional. You know, maybe her heart's in the right place. You know, she loves her father, obviously. She wanted to do right by her dad, but having Phil Jackson influence your decisions is a terrible, terrible decision. You know, having your best friend and her husband influence your decision, it's a terrible decision. You got to get people in here that know basketball. Kurt Rambis has shown that he is, of all things, he's Linda Rambis' husband. And that's what he's trying to leverage to get a job in this day and age, which is one of the saddest things I think I can ever remember. You know, being a Laker fan, you love what Kurt Rambis did in the 80s. I mean, the guy was all heart. And to see him just in this position and leveraging his marriage to get a job is just, it's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. Sorry, guys. I know, like I said, it wasn't the most enthusiastic video, but, you know, I had to get it off my chest. Now the rumors are that, you know, the Lakers are possibly looking at trading LeBron for Ben Simmons. Philadelphia just lost a heartbreaking series. I mean, Kawhi Leonard hit a spectacular shot. I mean, it was an amazing shot. Ben Simmons didn't really have a great playoff series. I mean, at this point, I can't be mad if that happens. You know, I feel like we've done a disservice to LeBron. You know, we sold him a bill of goods. The guy gets here and nothing's what it was supposed to be. He signed for the long term. You know, he signed for the 4 years. And I'm sure he was under the assumption that we were going to put the pieces around him necessary for him to compete. And all we've done now is just, you know, embarrass him, embarrass ourselves, make a mockery of the purple and gold. And I wouldn't be mad, you know, if we send him over to Philly, give him a chance to, you know, get another ring, possibly in the East. I mean, where he's comfortable in that conference. He'll be, you know, playing with some good players, Embiid and possibly Jimmy Butler, depending on who the Sixers re-sign. And, you know, we can go with this youth movement. You know, we bring in Ben Simmons. You got the number 1 and the number 2 pick with him and Ingram, you know, and you just let Vogel implement his system, see how that works. And in the next year or two, like I said, when Jason Kidd takes over, he'll have a system in place with the young guys, and maybe they can progress that way. I don't know, but then if that's the case, then why let go Luke Walton? You know, it's like you let Luke Walton implement his system the first couple years, and then you said the guy's not the right coach for this team, and now I don't know. It just, like I said, the speculation going on, the rumors, it's frustrating. And again, we haven't heard from Rob Pelinka, we haven't heard from Jeannie. All we know is that, you know, there's a lot of people saying that they've got inside sources telling them that Linda Rambis is doing this, and Kurt Rambis is doing this, and Phil Jackson is doing that. We got to get together. You know, this isn't the Lakers that I grew up rooting for. This isn't the Lakers I grew up loving. You know, we got to get it together. So, like I said, I apologize everybody for this video. I know it's not, you know, in our usual vein. You know, there's no jokes, and you know, my panel's not here. Promise next video we'll have a little bit more upbeat, you know, style subject matter. Want to make sure we get into, you know, the summer league. What rookies, second-year players are going to be playing, if we're going to even have a rookie, depending on how the draft goes. Want to get a video of how we do at the lottery selection. Kuzma's going to be representing us. Hopefully Kuz can bring us some good luck. If we do get, you know, a top 3 pick, if we get that number 1 pick, do we keep Zion? Do we draft Zion? Do we trade Zion to try to get AD? I mean, all those things that, you know, we should be talking about as opposed to what the front office is doing and, you know, the mockery that they're making of our beloved purple and gold. So, again, I want to say thank you, everybody, for coming. If you like what you hear, if you guys have Any questions, go ahead and comment in the comment section down below. Click the subscribe button. You guys show us some love, and talk to you next time. Thanks.